Bring your cup and take a seat. Fill it up, coffee, wine, or tea. Come find what you're looking for. A good pour.
Welcome back to A Good Pour. I'm Kathryn Good, your host. This is Conversations About Good Work, and today we have Beth Pickle, who is in sales and leadership development. She also is just very involved in our community. I get to see you at Together Sumner and Sumner County Women in Business. Just chamber meetings. I feel like I see you a lot, and I'm very grateful. So welcome, Beth.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Tell me how you do good work.
Well, I go to Northfield Church, and our motto is to love God, love people, and make Jesus known. And so, truthfully, I just ask God all the time to open doors, show me where I can help, and then I just try to go help.
So I love that. And I don't feel like I knew you until maybe Leadership Sumner.
Yeah, Leadership Sumner was a very defining moment for me.
What year did you go through?
2023.
Okay. So I feel like, I feel like you went through it, and then like everyone I talked about was like, have you met Beth? Have you met Beth? Have you met Beth?
It was really a life-changing experience for me. And I think it took everything that I had been learning and doing up until that point and gave me direction and purpose. And, one of the things people say to me all the time is, I see you everywhere, or you're everywhere. And I wasn't everywhere before Leadership Sumner. I was a lot of places, but not where I was really having an impact. And, I feel like that both through the leadership training that I had in that, experience and the opportunities and the people that it introduced me to, it truly just opened a whole new world for me.
Are there specific things that you felt like you got more involved in after that?
Oh, very much so. The leadership training that we had really helped me as a person. And that's why that's something that I've incorporated now into my business. That's what I do, is because I've taken, in 30 years of sales, I've taken pretty much every personality quiz, and everything that is out there. And they helped me understand myself better. But at the same time that I was going through Leadership Sumner, our church as a group was doing a training called I Said This, You Heard That. And
I have bought that book, but I have not done it.
You've got to do it. It's amazing because it put me in a place where I realized that understanding myself better wasn't just so I could be a better me. It was so that I could go and be Jesus to other people. I could meet their needs and understand their strengths. And I had an experience during that training, and Jim Holcomb will die when I say this on a recording, but I said, I am very direct. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And he said, yes, and everything you just said is all about you. And it was one of the biggest aha moments I've ever had in my life, because it's like, in the movies, when you see somebody, they're talking to someone that speaks a different language, and when they find out they don't speak English, they say the same thing louder.
Yes.
That's what I was doing with my whole life. Yeah. I was just being a louder, more out there version of myself, and not worrying about how do other people receive that? And am I meeting the needs of other people? Am I putting them in a position to be their best self and give their best ideas? Yeah. And when I combined that with all of the nonprofits and the things going on in the community that I was exposed to during Leadership Sumner, I feel like magic really happened. And it gave me the opportunity to bring my best self with my best motive, which is to truly help people in the way they need it. It just has changed my life.
What are you on the Enneagram? Do you know? Have you done the Enneagram?
That is like the only one ever.
I think we've talked about this before.
I have not done.
Okay. What's your favorite personality test?
Well, it is the social styles test that I did
with Leadership Sumner.
And because it told me not just what my personality style was, but it also measured my versatility, which means how well do I adjust to other personalities. Mm-hmm. And I actually tested very high on that. I scored very high on it, but learning what it was helped me to be more intentional in it, because it's kind of like so many other people. I used those skills in certain settings, but in business, for example, a lot of times I just was my full on driver self, taking control of everything and not allowing my team to operate at its most high potential by feeding into other people in the way that they needed to. So it really helped me to be that same person all the time and use those skills very intentionally.
I asked about the Enneagram because I had a similar experience. I was called bold my entire life and direct and those sort of things. And so when I studied the Enneagram, and I studied it a lot, probably 2015 or so, and I learned I'm a snowplow, and I can either run people over or I can clear the path. And it was a similar experience. Like, what am I doing? And just, it can be in the way we talk or the actions we take, but it's a mindset, and it's an intentionality that sometimes doesn't exist, before
I didn't realize how often, I know people have sent me memes and things about, your face says my face says everything I'm thinking, and my body language and everything. But I just don't think I realized how often that affected other people. And it's funny because now I don't feel myself getting tense. I don't feel that heat because I'm really listening and trying to understand where this other person is coming from and how can we meet in the middle. And it's a much happier existence.
That's amazing. Is there a certain place that you feel like you've learned a lot about Sumner County or what it needs? Or was that really started in Leadership Sumner, but you've really gotten involved in a lot? So
I have.
Is there any particular place that you are like, oh, I really learned something here, or learned something about specific needs that Leadership Sumner has?
I have to say, United Way my involvement with United Way has been really eye-opening. It was when she came that day, when Erin came to the nonprofit day and shared, and I just shared at the United Way breakfast the other day that when she was talking about Alice and the people in our community who live above the poverty level, so there's not a lot of assistance for them, but they are below the level where they can exist and pay their basic needs. And I realized she was talking about me in my childhood. I didn't realize it when I was going through it, but looking back, I realized it. The fact that United Way funds so many partner organizations. And it's very ironic because the United Way corporately, the big United Way, did not always support everything or they supported things I didn't necessarily agree with. And I was also one of those people who would say, I don't want to give my money to a big organization that has a big budget and has a paid staff and everything. Now, having gotten involved, I see that on the countywide level, they are integral in not just funding all of these other organizations, but supporting them
and connecting
them to each other. During the tornado, I took about 2 weeks and just every day was up there with the Hendersonville Chamber and the United Way, and watching how they connected other organizations to make sure that they weren't duplicating efforts, that people knew where to go, and just really making every dollar that came in have such a huge impact on everyone that it went to. It was really exciting and eye-opening, but then also watching Erin hug and pray with someone who came in for supplies. So they meet those immediate tangible needs, but then also those financial needs. And it's important. There are lots of grassroots organizations that have a good heart and want to do something, but they have no idea what they're getting into. And they're great about vetting those organizations and maybe connecting them with somebody who's already doing what they're doing. And I will tell you the one thing that I've discovered, people tell me, like I said, you're everywhere. The reason I'm everywhere is because our community has a network of nonprofits who work together so well that you can plug in on any day for any length of time that you have or any amount of money you have to donate, and they will make sure it has a huge impact. And so that's why if I have a few hours on a Saturday, I can go and I can make a difference. If I have money to give, I know where to give it, where it will have the biggest impact. But my pastor said one Sunday, he said, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. And I thought, wow, that is really, because we think, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money. Whatever you have, there's a place in this community you can give it. And the nonprofits here are so well organized and connected with each other, they'll make it count.
Yeah. You are everywhere though, because it's what I call multiplication. It is because you've owned who you are. You've owned your passion and your purpose. And when we do that, we show up everywhere because it's the gospel. It's shining our light. And so you are everywhere. I'm not trying to diminish what you're doing. Like 2 years ago, I did not know who you were. Right. And now the result of your work is also everywhere. Or you have people saying, do you know Beth? And that comes from we are centered in who we are and our passion and purpose of what we're doing.
I do believe that when you surrender what you're supposed to be doing and who you're supposed to be to God.
And who you're supposed to do it for.
Yes, He will open the doors. And it's funny because through this process, we do Lord's Supper every Sunday, and it has become so much more important to me because I do every Sunday. I pray, God, help me to be your hands and feet, and help me to see the needs and the people the way that you see them. And I just feel like that every day He does that. He opens my eyes to an opportunity. I remember the first time that I started praying that after Nonprofit Day, and I had followed Grace Place because Dinesh had come and spoken, and it said, we're out of size 3 diapers. And I was passing Publix, and I was like, okay, I can do that. And I pulled in, went and bought some diapers, dropped them off on the front porch. And from that obedience, God gives you more opportunities, because let's face it, He does not need us to do His work. He just allows us the blessing of being a part of that.
Yeah. I love when obedience comes up in this podcast. I love it. It comes up a lot, and it's
people who know me would not think that is my favorite word, but I do know how.
It is. I do a word of the year. Have I told you that before?
No.
I do a word of the year, and obedience is what started the whole thing. Because I actually the words of the year now come to me ahead of the year. So like over the next several months, I will start to listen for what the word of the year should be next year. But when I started this, it's because I went through like I had to surrender and say, I'm dealing with something, and I need to turn it over, and how do I do that? And there were some very, very specific actions that I realized that I had a life change because of obedience, right? And so at that point, then I just started, okay, we only move forward when we obey.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was just sharing with a friend yesterday a time where I was obedient to God in a moment where I did not want to be. And I was mad the whole time I was being, because you think you're going to once you make the decision to be obedient, everything's just going to fall into place. But
you have to be obedient again and again.
You have to take that step first.
Yeah.
And then it will fall into place. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but is there anything else you'd like to say specifically about good work?
I would just say that it is kind of like what we just said about taking the step to be obedient. It's to just do the next thing that you see. It's not looking for the big places. I was not looking to be everywhere. I was not looking to serve on a board. When Aaron called and asked me to be on the United Way board, I said, let's have a conversation, because I didn't see myself as that person. But I said, let's talk about what I can bring to the table, and if that's what you're looking for. And so, I think so often we think, when I'm ready, when I have more time, when the kids are out of school, when I'm retired, when I have, whatever, that I'll do more. And I would say that doing good work just means start today where you are and just do the next thing that you see.
I love that. One of the things you said at the United Way breakfast was that you didn't realize at the time that you just thought your mom didn't like milk and that she was too busy to sit down for dinner. And do you I feel like you're a very observant person. Do you feel like that started that path for you? Like you were observant, like she didn't even have the milk,
Yeah.
right? You didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
But do you feel like, and I think you're aware of what's going on in our community and a gift in that kind of awareness. But I don't know, that just struck me when you said it. And I was like, I wonder if there's a tie there.
There is, because I know, like, one of the things, and and I don't say this to brag, I say this to tell other people, think about these things, because again, that Alice community, the community that, they're not on, public assistance and things. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because like I said, when I shared at the breakfast, there were times my mom had to use food stamps. But sometimes it is those people that you don't know. And so, like, one of the things Kirk and I have done is we've given money. We try to give a scholarship for a kid to go to camp. We give it to I would go to the youth pastor and say, find somebody who's not in that category, that the mom needs it, but people don't know she needs it.
Right.
And I think, so often we say, oh, well, we didn't have anything and we worked really hard. And, we just think if people go work hard, they'll be okay. There's so many people, they are working hard every day. And I don't want those people to have it as hard as I had it. I want to make it better for them. I want them to know someone's there and someone cares. Just like people cared for me. People did for me. When, Kirk asked me after the breakfast, he said, did you edit yourself any? And I did, because I don't ever want to make my parents, especially my dad, sound bad. But my dad was very high profile. He was in the music industry. People knew who he was. He lived very large. And people would never have dreamed, because I can remember going to Disney World on George Jones's bus with my dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so you would never think that my mom was at home not able to buy enough milk.
Yeah.
But it was all going on at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow. Tell me a little bit about your consulting.
So my real job. That's what people ask me all the time. They're like, "Do you actually, do you have a real job?"
Because in order for us to have the money and time and all these, we do have to have real jobs.
Yes,
so I want to make sure to give you
I have
a moment here too.
So yes, so I do employee benefits, but everything I do, it's about helping people. I look back, I've been in sales for 30 years. And when I look back at what motivated me to get into those different careers, it really was about helping people. One of my favorite things to tell people that I did was I used to be a sales manager for a pre-need cremation company. And people are always like, you were what? But truthfully, I did that because I sat in the hospital room and held my daddy's hand as he took his last breath. And shortly after that, the nurse came in and asked us who to call. And I'm like, well, we're all here. And she meant what funeral home? And walking through that process without any plans made, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that to my kids. And so I went and helped other people not do that. And so kind of when I go through something, I'm like, I want to help other people do that. And so when I went through that experience with Leadership Sumner, I went to Jim Holcomb and I said, I want to do what you do, because I see so many leaders who are trying to lead a team, and they're taking these quizzes and they think they're doing the right things, and they are not, or these companies will spend all this money to bring somebody in to speak. And I've been there where you get all excited, you have pages of notes, and then you go back and life hits you in the face, and you go back we're in that path that our personality takes us through. But there are real world, very specific things that you can do to learn to lead a team, to learn to help them be their best, to see those things. And I know, because I've lived that. I would, if you'd have asked me when I went into Leadership Sumner, and truthfully, if you'd have asked some of the teams that I led, some of the teams that I led, they would have said I was a good leader. But I had so much more to give and such a better way to lead. And so I want to help other people do that. And when you have your personality, I want to be able to take you and show you, okay, now here's how to put that into practice. Whether it is being a better mother, whether it's being a better partner, or being a better manager, I want you to learn how to take those skills, those strengths, and those weaknesses, and learn how to give other people the opportunity to shine and grow. And that's what I do now.
Amazing. I think I'm going to have to do it for our team. Has Matt taken this?
He has not. I know what he is.
Okay. We're not
But
supposed
yeah.
to do that, right? We're not supposed to prejudge people.
We are not supposed to prejudge people. But and you know what? I really think that's one of the things that's so different about this, because I don't prejudge people in the way that I used to. What I look for is, this is who this person is. And so this is their need. And, that golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. One of the things that we learned was the platinum rule of do unto others as they would have you do unto them. And I've learned with all of my kids, they have very different styles. And, I've learned which ones I just need to be present. I need to be in the room and listen and wait for the opportunity. I've got one that calls me almost every day, and we talk and we can go head to head. But I've learned, so I'm not prejudging. I'm looking for opportunity to meet their needs.
And you're observant.
Yes, I'm observing.
And that's just you as it is. So, well, thank you, Beth. I'm so grateful for Leadership Sumner, for my own experience, but even more so for yours, because the community has truly gotten a gift because you were obedient to even that. So
Thank you.
thanks for being here today.